Yes, it's here, the guide to beat Crazy Carnival. Months of procrastination, I mean research, and here we are. Let's get into it. As always, with my guides, this will tell you how to beat it on easy mode, not S rank, but tips and tricks to beat it in S rank are included. There is a large intro sequence into this level, but nothing in this sequence is a threat. Just keep pressing forward until you reach the tent, and then pick up the mallet. This will cause you to strike the bell, and then a cage will land on your character. 5 Clown Gremlins will spawn, and you can use Primal Fear to get rid of them. But before you head into the clown's mouth and enter Act 1, there is a ladder on the left. Climb this very tall ladder to reach the secret at the top of it, and you will have Secret 1. Because of the sheer size of this level, we're going to have to break it down into much smaller constituents than the previous videos. This means enemy AI and traps will now be per act or in between sequences rather than the whole level itself. But first, into the Crazy Carnival basics, and strap yourselves in everyone, because this level is massive. There are 280 shards in total in this level, 60 in Act 1 and 220 in Act 2, but there are also 3 miniature zones between these acts and a boss fight to survive where shards aren't present. There are also 4 secrets, now 3, after you have climbed the ladder and collected the first one. For this level, you will be given the Primal Fear ability. The Primal Fear ability functions very similar to the Stun Orb. However, whilst the Stun Orb stuns all enemies in the level, Primal Fear will only stun enemies within a certain radius of yourself. This is a very handy ability for getting out of tricky situations, particularly if you're surrounded on certain sides. Like Deadly Decadence and Stranger Sewers, this level does have traps, but unlike the previous levels, these traps differ quite vastly in Act 1 and Act 2, so we will be covering them in their respective acts. If you are a brave soul looking to S-rank this level, you will need to beat it in under 36 minutes, collect all soul shards and both bonus shards, lose 2 lives in total or less, get a 250 shard streak, collect all 4 secrets, and try not to cry. Right, that's level basics covered. Into Act 1. Act 1 is a very large open area with 2 floors. The shards are very spaced out, with 29 on the first floor and 31 on the second. You can move between the floors via the portals. First thing, when you first arrive, is to click Z. This will allow you to expand your mini-map so you can see the level a lot more. This will be very important to allow you to look for avenues to escape, as if you don't, the map is very zoomed in on the mini-map, making it harder to see where to go. There are 2 types of traps in Act 1, the mallet traps and the jack-in-the-box. Both operate similarly to previous traps, with them going off at periodic intervals. However, they both operate slightly different to each other. The jack-in-the-box trap has an audio cue, and it will play the typical tune of Pop Goes the Weasel before springing out on the term Pop Goes the Weasel. The floor will be illuminated in a red area where the head is going to attack. If you are in that red, whilst the jack-in-the-box is more of an audio trap, the mallet trap on the other hand is more of a visual trap, meaning you will need to judge them by sight and not sound. Yet the sound of the mallets hitting can provide some indication. The mallets are very simple, they will clash together at regular intervals, and you can teleport through them when they are closed. The enemies in Crazy Carnival are the Clown Gremlins, but due to the differences between Act 1 and Act 2 that we were talking about earlier, we're going to have to break their AI down per act, because they do behave very differently. In Act 1, the first enemy you will see is the Clown Car. This is an extremely fast and mobile enemy that cannot damage you, but always knows your exact location and is slightly predictive of where you are going to go. It can't kill you, but instead acts as a mobile spawner for Clown Gremlins. There are 2 on each floor in Act 1 or 4 in total, and only in Act 1 will you face them. The Clown Cars can't move between floors. They will chase you until they get into a certain vicinity of you, where you'll then hear the sound cue of it skidding to a stop. The front lights of the car will flicker, and it will begin to spawn Clown Gremlins after half a second in front of the car. Clown cars will only spawn a maximum of 3 gremlins, and only 3 per car, which is obviously 6 per floor. Interestingly, once they do spawn their gremlins, they will actually drive away from you and try to hide in an area of the map where they won't bother you. You can actually run after them and chase them, and they won't do anything. They'll just keep driving away from you or just idling away. An important thing to note here, however, is if one car manages to drop its 3 gremlins to you and then they chase after you, the other car will still continue to chase you until that car then deposits its 3 gremlins before it sods off. Stunning a clown gremlin or getting a certain distance away from them will cause them to get back into the clown car. The clown car will then continue to chase you again until it manages to drop that clown gremlin off. Depending on the number of clown gremlins that have gone back into the car, depends on how many it will then spawn back in front of you. Essentially, the clown car is a mobile spawner. Its sole job is that once you get away from the clown gremlins and they have despawned, to get into them, and they will just drop you off as close to you as they possibly can, and that's their job. So they're not the biggest threat, however they do have a couple of inconveniences, but also a couple of advantages that we can use. The size of the clown cars themselves mean if you stun them within an archway or in certain angles, you can't get past them, which can be a bit annoying if you've got a clown gremlin behind you, but again you would have stunned them, so you will have time to escape. But using this can also be beneficial to us. Either stunning a clown car and then teleporting through the arch will cause, if there is a clown car behind you, to get trapped because it can't navigate around the arch. However, if you have a teleport and time it perfectly, allowing the clown car to spawn in the gremlins means you can teleport behind it and trap the clown gremlins on the other side of it. This means when it tries to move past you, they will get stuck and the car will get stuck, which means you can buy a few extra seconds just to get around an area or do what you would like to do. Using this technique of teleporting behind the clown car as the gremlins spawn means they won't actually see you, so they'll idle, which means they'll be walking around, but they'll be registered as spawned in. This means you do have more time as well until they notice you. The clowns themselves are the same speed as easy mode murder monkeys. They are slower than your sprint and nearly as slow as your walk. It is very easy to escape the clowns due to their slow speed. Abilities like speed boost will leave them in your dust. You can teleport around them if you really want to, however due to the width of the path, the clowns are quite agile and can turn around quite quickly and will not get trapped. Do not try to run past the clown gremlins because despite the size the path looks, they will still manage to get you even if you lead them to one side and try and sprint round the other, at least on many attempts that I tried. The AI of the clown gremlins is swarmers. They will attempt to swarm you. Because of their slow speed, it's their numbers that make them dangerous, not an individual gremlin. They will attempt to cut you off on the path you are running along. Typically, one will always be chasing you from behind and then the rest will either follow it in a similar manner or try and get ahead of you. This is where the music, and particularly the telepathy ability, will be your close friends. In Act 1, the music is going to be your friend. The reason why is because the music change happens quite far away from you. This will let you know that a clown gremlin has entered a certain vicinity of you that's still quite far away. This will give you time to establish where the clown gremlin or clown gremlins are coming from and allow you to take the appropriate route to either teleport past one, stun a couple of them, or find a way just to get away from them. The clown gremlins also have very squeaky shoes. This is the music cue or the sound cue that will play when they are a lot closer to you. So if you hear that noise, then you have to panic a little bit more because they are in a very, very close vicinity to you. However, by this time, the music would have changed so long ago that you would have known that they were coming. A typical strategy that I used for this level when practicing was once you hear the music cue, use your telepathy ability to very quickly establish where they're coming from. If you have a clear route, the best bet is just to go for that clear route. If you have one coming towards you, be prepared to either teleport round it or Primal Fear it, but I wouldn't waste it on one. If you have two, again, if you can get them close together, then you can stun them. 3 or more coming towards you, then again, you need to play whatever suits your pattern, but there are different routes you can take, particularly in Act 1, to avoid them. Because of all that we have mentioned, Act 1 primarily is an attention to detail test. Things to remember, there can only be 6 enemies that can kill you per floor. As you travel around, the music cue will change when they are quite close to you, but far enough away that you don't have to worry, except the cars themselves, which can't harm you. As you make your way around the level, use your telepathy ability to establish where the different clown gremlins are. They are slow, you have time to get away from them, and you are much more powerful than them. 6 as well is not significant numbers for a swarmer enemy. Because of this, Act 1 isn't too tricky. Again, there are traps and other things you have to pay attention to, but nothing that you don't have to worry about as long as you keep your wits about you. So Act 1 is quite simply a rinse and repeat. All you do, hear the music, use telepathy, which direction are the clown gremlins coming from, how many are there, and then use that to appropriately get away. I wouldn't worry too much about the cars. You can stun them if you want to reduce the number of gremlins coming into the level, but I personally found that just having the 6 gremlins there was much easier. Let them spawn in, let the cars get out of the way, and just continue to avoid them. They're not hard to avoid. But before you go, there is the second secret in Act 1. Once you reach or first start the level, if you head to the back right, there will be a portal that has to go back towards the front entrance. So head to the back right corner and you will find a portal with a spinning disc near it. Go through it and you will end up in a singular room with another file. That is the second secret. Once you have done all this and you have collected all the shards and the secret, you are ready to move to the first tent. After you leave Zone 1, you will spawn into a purple tent. Once you reach into the middle of it, prepare for a clown gremlin to spawn. When he does, you don't need to panic, as there are 2 things you can do to avoid him. The first is stun him just as he spawns in. This will cause him to be trapped behind the wall for a short period, however he will be able to eventually glitch himself out, but not before the level ends. However, another thing you can do is quite literally run around the room in circles. You don't need to speed boost as he is slow and he won't be able to catch you. Pay attention to the door he came through, as this is very important. The first rotation of the tent will reveal the clown gremlin. The second will reveal a blocked door, but the third rotation will reveal the third secret. I do advise that you actually do stun the clown gremlin so that you can make sure you collect this secret safely. And also you don't have too much to worry about, because by the time he does glitch out the wall, the tent will be ready to end, because the final door will be revealed and you can escape. The next section is the roller coaster.
Are you prone to motion sickness?
It's pointless and just gives me a headache. On to Act 2. Welcome to Act 2. This is where the real fun begins. And by fun I mean torture. And by torture I mean a horrendous pits of fire, or ball pits, and just alright horribleness. Let's have fun! Act 2 is quite a bit different to Act 1. There are 2 new traps in this zone, the cannonball traps and the roller coaster. The cannonball traps are again a visual cue and sound cue. You will hear the sound of a gun cocking before they fire a big cannonball across the room. I personally find the proximity of these a bit sketchy, so just be careful going around them. Around the whole outside of the map is a small roller coaster carriage. This roller coaster carriage will constantly travel in an anti-clockwise direction around the map. This means you will always want to head in a clockwise direction, so the cart will always head towards you and not behind you, making it easier to spot. There is now a big change in enemy structure in Act 2. The clown cars are gone, and instead we have 5 groups of 5 clown gremlins, or 25 in total. These clown gremlin groups feature in a kind of bizarre manner. When one clown gremlin from a group sees you, that entire group will know where you are. However, not all clown gremlins will know where you are. So for example, if we have 5 groups of clown gremlins, A, B, C and D and E, let's say a clown from group B sees you. Every clown in group B will now know your exact location and start chasing towards you. But groups A, C, D and E will have no idea where you are. This obviously becomes more of a problem if clowns from groups C and D notice you, because you will now have 10 clown gremlins that know your location as opposed to 5. and again this picks up worse and worse the more a gremlin from each group notices you. Because of this, our method for dealing with the Clown Gremlins in Act 2 is going to be one of stealth. We're going to want to limit how many groups see us. The other change to the Clown Gremlins in Zone 2 is the music trigger. This is because the Clown Gremlins do not trigger the music now based on their vicinity to you, but if one has noticed you. This means that if a Clown Gremlin notices you from a very long corridor, the music will trigger. However, if one is right next to you and sees you, only then will the music trigger. A better clue for this level is going to be the squeaky boots, as this will guarantee for you that they are very close to you. However, this is not also ideal because that means they are very close to you. The Clown Gremlin AI is programmed not to know where you are in the map. However, I would say that they have a loose idea of where you are. The reason for this is because if you stay in one location too long, they will all very slowly, idly walk towards the area you are. They won't know exactly where you are, but they know the area you will be. This means as you walk around the map, they will slowly migrate towards where you're located. So staying in one position is not the best idea. This level will be broken down into different rooms, what I will call the Laser Quest room, the empty mirror maze, the Stripey Bunk corridors, and the outside track. The first rooms you will encounter will be what I call the Laser Quest rooms. These are the initial corridors that make up the bulk of this level and are quite generic. They are very close quarters with lots of corners, but they can be stealthed around. Due to making up the bulk of the level, I have no random tips and tricks for these parts. Just be cautious around them, particularly in the cannon rooms, which do tend to inhabit these parts of the map. It is quite easy to stealth around these areas due to the corners, but just be cautious all the same as you would anyway. Using telekinesis in these rooms can help see Clown Gremlins that are coming, and also help you establish where the rest are on the map, allowing you to move to more empty areas to clear. The next type of room, and by far the worst of this map, is the empty mirror maze. The best way to handle this part of the map is when there are no gremlins around or very limited numbers. The reason for this is this room has very small narrow columns that make it difficult to go through. The best way to tackle this is, I find, run diagonally rather than running straight through. Due to the 4 entrances in this room, it means you can be ambushed from all sides. Your best bet is to try and stealthily make your way around this room when the Clown Gremlins are not near, or pop in, grab a few shards, and then get out, returning to the room when it is safer to do so. Next is the Stripey Bunk corridors. Now these rooms are also dangerous, but not for the reason you'd think. They're quite open downstairs, which means that you can make your way through them quite easily. And also, Clown Gremlins are not supposed to be able to get upstairs. Future glitch coming up. But because of this isn't too bad an area on the face of it. However, spending too much time upstairs means that all the Clown Gremlins, for some reason, will know where you are. They can't go through the portal, they're not supposed to, but that means that they will gather downstairs. This makes it very, very tricky to be able to escape by going through the portal, because you essentially walk into a wall of gremlins that sometimes will kill you as soon as you exit. Because of this, the best time to handle the Stripey Bunk corridors are when either the Clown Gremlins are on the other side of the map, or make sure you do it as quick as possible. Collect all the shards downstairs so you know that how many are upstairs, and then clear upstairs as quickly as possible before running out. If you do find there are a lot of gremlins stuck at the bottom of you, head to one area of the Stripey Bunk corridors upstairs and wait. This will cause them to slowly gather more so towards where you are. Get telepathy ready so you can see when you're free to go, head down, and make sure stun is ready and do it instantly. This means you can get away. Which brings us on to a possible tactic you can use. By hiding upstairs in the Stripey Bunk corridors and allowing the Clown Gremlins to hide under you basically, you can then run downstairs and stun a large amount of them. This means you can then run to the other side of the map where they will have to idly walk over to you, giving you quite a bit of time to clear a different section of the level, particularly the empty mirror maze. The final room is the Ballpit. This will be protected by speed barriers, and like the floor in Stranger Sewers, it will slow you down. The Clown Gremlins can move through it, and they are not slowed by the Ballpit. It's a room to be cautious of, but not a room to fear. There is one tactic that I found that seemed to help a lot with completing this level. As the level starts, head out the room and head right into the Laser Quest corridors and avoid the gremlins on your left. Try to collect as many shards as you can stealthily before heading onto the tracks and heading right. Keep heading right or clockwise along the tracks. This will allow you to make sure that you can see the cart is coming. As you work around the map, keep heading into the little cut-ins into the map and collect as many shards as you can before getting noticed and retreating back to the track. Just be cautious that the gremlins can get onto the track and run across it, and they will not be hit by the cart. As you walk around or make your way around the map, keep taking these cut-ins to collect as many shards as you can, slowly building up your streak. Keep repeating this until you slowly have to work your way into the middle of the map. This will allow you to build up a good shard streak and also get yourself familiar with the types of areas that you will be discovering. An important thing to note, when you first get on the track from the back at the beginning of the level and head right, the final secret will be hidden in a hidden panel along the track, so make sure you pick it up. I personally find this tactic of working around the outside track and then slowly working inwards much easier. It removes that tension of getting rid of some of the shards, and it also makes you realise just how many shards are actually on the outside. If you want to try a small tactic that does sometimes work, stay in one area for a bit longer, allow some of the gremlins to idly walk towards you, and then make your way around the other areas of the map. Your best bet is to avoid as many clown gremlins as you can, but you are inevitably going to face them. When you do, try to make sure you use telepathy and get to an area where there is a lot less of them. Sometimes you will have to do this as well to lead the gremlins from a certain area to where you want them to be, clearing up other areas of the map. Glitches! I found 2 glitches in this act, and it is interesting because they can assist you in somewhat. The first glitch, I have no idea how I triggered it, is if you go into the upstairs of the Stripey Bunk corridors, sometimes a clown gremlin will manage to end up upstairs. It can't attack you unless you run up to it and touch it, but it would just stand idly there and do nothing. So, not an important glitch, but a fun glitch. The second glitch, however, can be very beneficial. This glitch involves the speed barriers. Clown gremlins can't make it through the speed barriers, and because of this, if you should find yourself on one side and they're on the other side, they can actually get trapped, and they will actually stand in the speed barrier and obviously not move through it. This also means you can actually partially stun lock them and cause a group of gremlins or a certain number to get trapped, removing the number of gremlins that you have to run away from. When doing this, I managed to get 4 gremlins stuck, and at one point 5, but that 5th one did seem to wriggle himself free. Once you collect the last shard, Malik is going to turn up, and he will spawn very close to you. Because of this, I would leave a shard outside the final room in the middle of the map. Once you get it, be prepared to teleport, get past Malik with teleportation, and run straight into the second tent. Once you collect the ring piece from the center of the tent, a gremlin will spawn. Do not stun him, as a second gremlin will be spawning in 2 rotations of the tent. So, run around the outside and avoid the first one. Once the tent rotates twice, be prepared for the second one to enter and use Primal Fear to stun both of them. This will trap one in the wall and one with you. Move to the other side of the room and just be cautious in case they wake up. If they do, continue to run around the outside until the exit reveals itself and then escape. And this takes us on to the boss. Well done for getting this far, but the worst is still to come. No, it's not actually. Act 2 was the worst bit, but anyway, let's do it. First things first with the final zone. Please don't die to the choppy doors, particularly if you're S ranking. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Alright, on to the boss. As you go to leave, there will be a cutscene where Malik will reveal the 4 Goliath clowns that we saw on the pointless roller coaster ride. These Goliath clowns will spawn in Clown Gremlins and you will be armed with a mallet. Get ready for the most extreme version of Whack-A-Mole. To beat this level, all you have to do is hit the hands of the Goliath clowns once on easy mode or twice on medium mode. Move around the outside of the level and walk under the Goliath clowns. When you do, you will hear a noise and a light will appear on the floor, signaling the clown Goliath is going to punch the floor. Don't be in this light when he does punch the floor, as otherwise you will die. Once he does punch the floor, use the mallet to hit his hand and repeat this process. Using Primal Fear will now eliminate Clown Gremlins as opposed to stunning them. You can also use the mallet to destroy them, however this is a waste of time as the Goliath clowns will spawn more back in. If you can, it is easier to group the Clown Gremlins together and then either speed boost away to the other side of the map and force a Goliath clown to try and punch you and then destroy its hand, or walk around clockwise and just lead them around, and do be a bit risky. You're going to have to be a bit risky a couple of times, but also don't overextend yourself. This level is a bit polarizing. Some people find it very hard to do the boss and other people find it very easy. Do what works for you. Manage the gremlins as you find yourself fit to do, and then manage with the Goliath clowns as you see fit how to do. I personally find it much easier to group them at the beginning, get them all in a chunk, and then speed boost around the outside or teleport, destroy the Goliath clowns, and keep working my way around. Just be cautious when doing this, however, as sometimes the group of gremlins does split and they'll come around either side as opposed to all coming around as one mass. Keep repeating this process until you manage to destroy all the Goliath clowns. Once you do, you will hear a voice cue from Malik saying, "How dare you?" Be prepared to teleport as he is going to spawn in again to try and get you. Teleport past him and speed boost to the exit. And well done, you will have beaten Crazy Carnival. Hopefully this guide does help, guys. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. It does help the channel out. Before I go, I have to attach this message onto this video. The support for this channel has been incredible and I have everyone watching this to thank for it. I've been away for 2 months, probably 3 months by the time this video gets up, because of a new job. I managed to get a new job, which is fantastic, but it does keep me very busy. And I'll admit, I was wondering whether to do YouTube or not during that time, but you guys answered that for me. While I've been away, we hit 10,000 watch hours, I got 226 subscribers, so I'm up again, but I also get roughly 120 views every 2 days on this channel. The stats are building, everything's really good, and I wanted to continue, obviously. For you guys, I'm glad that I'm getting all this support, so thank you so much. Part of the other reason I haven't come out with anything is because I thought Dark Deception Chapter 4 would be out by now. I thought I could show you me taking on the nurses, the Joy Joy Gang and Mama Bear, but it's not released, and at this time the channel has become quite Dark Deception centralized. There are other videos that I love, but they don't get anywhere near as much attention as these videos. The how-to videos particularly do get a lot of views. Please, again, as I always ask, send me your way any video ideas you'd want to watch me do. Do you want me to do like another game and then do how to beat those levels? What do you want me to do? But thank you so much for the support, it means so much. See you in the next one, guys. In an anti-clockwise direction. No, it's not. It's counterclockwise. That is anti-clockwise, you mug! Hand of a Clown Goliath once each, or twice if you are on a bigger difficulty. That don't make no sense. This roller cola.